Hello and welcome back to another episode of KCAT News. On this episode, Trenton Ellison reviews the movie Carnage, Caleb Perkins catches up with some of the recent signings, Andrew has the scoop on baby chicks hatching at Mulvane High School, Saylor has the two members of Mulvane bowling team who are signing with Newman, Chayton Fonsel has the details on the FBLA district events that happened last week, Emma has the information for Clue auditions as well as Josie Russell signing, and Gabe has another episode of Gabe's Game Recap. I'm Chayton Fonsel, and KCAT News starts right now. The new comic Carnage featuring Venom has just came out. Trenton has the rest of the story.
Welcome back to The Critic. I'm your host, Trenton Ellison, and today we will be looking at the recent comic miniseries, Absolute Carnage. Be warned, there will be spoilers. Absolute Carnage takes place after Venom Volume 2 by Donny Cates. In the beginning of the comic, we see Eddie Brock in Rikers Island, where he's being confronted by Lee Price, who is another symbiote, and it turns out it was actually Cletus Cassidy posing to be Eddie Brock, and he escapes Rikers Island and decides to go on a rampage. In the next part, we see that Eddie Brock is with his son, Dylan, who doesn't know that Eddie Brock is his father, and we see that Eddie Brock is explaining what Carnage is and what's happening, like how Null, the god of the symbiotes, is coming down to Earth and how they're going to have to prepare for this. He's explaining everything he knows about symbiotes to his son, and later on they go to a subway where they're pushed in front of a moving train, but luckily Venom is there to save them. So then Venom and Carnage get into a fight, which leads to a lot of damage. Later on, they go to Peter Parker's house where they ask for help. Later on, they go to a cafe to talk about everything that's going on. So Eddie Brock explains that every single person who's ever had a symbiote is now laced with the codex on their spine, which the only way of getting that codex is by ripping it from their spine and killing the host. Carnage needs these to reawake their god, Null. So then this means that they have to gather certain people who have been host to symbiotes, such as Captain America, Wolverine, and his son Dylan. Now, later on, we find out that Anne Wang, Eddie's ex-wife, who was a host to Venom for a while, known as She-Venom, actually passed down her codex to Dylan. Later on, they meet up with the Maker, aka Reed Richards from another universe, to help rip out the codex without killing the host. Later on, we see Eddie Brock and Miles Morales, the ultimate Spider-Man, fight off against a horde of different Carnages. In the story, we see that Spider-Man and Eddie going down to see Norman Osborn because a couple issues ago, he was known as the Red Goblin, which was a mixture of the Green Goblin and the Carnage symbiote. So they are led by James Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son, who is also known as the Moon Wolf. And we see that he's actually gone crazy and infected with Carnage. And in the next fight, we see Eddie Brock and Miles Morales as they fight off a bunch of symbiotes. But then Carnage infects Miles Morales, making him into this sort of doppelganger. Later on, we see three of the main superheroes who have been infected with the symbiotes, such as Captain America, Wolverine, and the Thing. We also see that Bruce Banner is there to help with the machine that'll rip out the codex without killing them. We see Eddie Brock looming over Captain America as he's having the codex taken away from him. Then Peter Parker enters and states that he should tell Dylan that he's his father, but he just grins and laughs, and once again it turns out to be Cletus Cassidy as he attacks Spider-Man, and Eddie tells him to move out of the way, and then they retreat to the bunker with Dylan and Normie. Venom says that he wants to get out there and fight Carnage to put an end to this, but Eddie says no, and that it'll only lead to worse things. So then the Venom symbiote decides that he is not strong enough to go against Carnage and bonds with Bruce Banner, who then becomes Venomized Hulk. But it seems that Carnage planned for that to happen because after a while, he just rips the symbiote off, so then Eddie decides he's gonna have to fight off the Horde, but Spider-Man tells him no. But reluctantly, Eddie says, protect Dylan and Normie, and he agrees and promises that he'll keep Dylan and Normie safe. So then he grabs Captain America's shield and goes out to fight the Horde. Not to mention, I think it was also really cool to see other superheroes like Deadpool and Scream, who's actually another symbiote. One of my favorite symbiotes, actually. I was really hoping to see her again. Overall, I'd rate this at 8.5 out of 10 symbiotes. That's all for this week. Trenton Ellison, KCAT News.
This past week, many athletes signed with colleges for sports. Caleb Perkins has the rest of the details.
On Wednesday, February 5th, 3 Mulvane High School seniors signed with colleges to extend their athletic career. First, Cole Divenball signed with Fort Hays State to be a part of the track team. Second, Matthew Byers signed with Butler Community College to continue playing football. Last, Caleb Mater signed with Southwestern to become a builder and extend his football career. They are all ready to go to the next level.
I'm looking forward to just the competition and bettering myself as a track athlete.
I mean, it's exciting, you know. Not many people get to do this. It's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. I mean, college gets somewhat paid for, which is nice. It's also more expensive because you're going to play football pretty much. You're paying for it. But, you know, it's exciting. I mean, I love the sport.
Good luck to the high school seniors as they continue their dreams of playing at the next level of their athletic career. Caleb Perkins, KCAT News.
This week, the students involved in agricultural science hatched eggs and now have baby chicks. Andrew has the rest of the story.
Hey, Patrick.
What?
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
25.
Anybody with a childhood remembers that episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick have to try and save Roger. Roger was an unhatched egg, a vulnerable baby chick. After fighting throughout the episode, SpongeBob and Patrick have to work together to get a new light bulb, saving Roger and saving their friendship. This episode taught me as a child that working together can be vital to a much greater cause. Recently, students in the animal science class have learned how to take care of a baby chicken egg. Over the last few weeks, they've managed to take care of these eggs, and now they're hatching. Birth is a truly beautiful thing, and these students get to see it up close. And trust me when I say that it's way cooler than just buying baby chicks at Atwood's. I mean, look at these cuties. So if you want to experience this beauty of life, then take the animal science class at MHS. That's all from me, Andrew Gibson, KCAT News.
Last week, Gage Harness and JD Tice both signed with Newman for bowling. Sarah Neff will finish the story.
On Friday, January 31st, J.D. Titus and Gage Harness signed to Newman University to continue their academic and athletic careers.
Newman University. Bowling. This would be physical therapy, yeah. Becoming a better bowler.
See you guys tomorrow.
Memories.
Congratulations and good luck for continued bowling success.
The auditions for Clue have started. Emma has the scoop.
This year's spring play is Clue on Stage, which is based off of the 1985 movie Clue. When 6 party guests, all with aliases, are invited to a dinner party hosted by Mr. Body, suddenly we all become murder suspects for the mysterious death of, you guessed it, Mr. Body. The cast consists of roughly 5 guys and 5 gals, with the main 6 party guests: Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet, Mr. Green, Miss Peacock, Professor Plum, and Miss White. If you are interested in auditioning, audition packets are available in Mr. Mitchell's room, room 600. Auditions will be held on Tuesday, February 18th. Callbacks will be Friday, February 21st. If you are interested in auditioning, audition packets are available in Mr. Mitchell's room, room 600. Auditions will be held Tuesday, February 18th. Callbacks will be on Friday, February 21st in the auditorium. And finally, on Saturday, February 22nd, the cast list will be posted on the exterior doors by Mr. Mitchell's room. Emma Seville, KCAT News.
Clue. It's not just a game anymore.
2 weeks ago, FBLA's chapter competed at Keeman High School. Chayton Fonsel has the insights. Last week, on January 29th, the Mulvane FBLA chapter traveled to Keeman to participate in their district events. I caught up with Caleb Perkins, the president, to see how he did.
At FBLA districts this year, I competed in 5 different events: public speaking, job interview, journalism, broadcast journalism, and graphic design.
On top of Caleb performing, all of the other FBLA members participated in their events, and on the screen now I will show you all the points that they've gotten. I also asked Caleb what are some important skills you can learn from FBLA.
It improves our leadership abilities in a business setting and then also helps with our time management in that business setting.
That's it for me, Trayton Fonsel, KCAT News. Josie Russell this past week signed with Friends University for cross country and track. Emma Seville will fill us in.
This week on February 3rd, Josie Russell signed with Friends University to compete on their cross country and track team.
For track and field mainly, but also cross country. Definitely the teammates, just meeting the new team. I'm going into exercise science.
Congratulations to Josie on this amazing opportunity. Emma Seville, KCAT News.
Finally, Gabe has another episode of Gabe's Game Recap, catching you up on all scores and all sporting events from this past week.
The wrestling team was in action at the Rose Hill Invitational on February 7th through the 8th. The Cats placed 6th overall out of 24 teams. Individually medaling in first place was Chadwick Stahl, and then in third place was Jackson Young and Hunter Scott. Then the girls' wrestling team took place in the Invitational at South. Medaling in first place was Cami Shantz, and then Kyla Burdick medaled in third. Bowling had a triangular on February 6th. On the girls' side, JV fell to Augusta but picked up a win against Cheney. And varsity also fell to Augusta but picked up a win against Cheney. On the boys' side, JV and varsity picked up wins against Cheney and Augusta. Then on February 7th, they had a duel against Buhler. It was another school-wide sweep for the Cats as both boys and girls, JV and varsity, picked up a win, as both boys, JV, and varsity remain undefeated with a record of 8-0. The basketball team hosted the Circle Thunderbirds on February 4th. On the girls' side, C team fell 16-39, JV fell 19-38, and varsity couldn't keep up with the Thunderbirds as they fell 21-49. Cameron Nolan led the way with 6 points and 4 rebounds. On the boys' side, C team came up short 49-54. JV couldn't keep up either, falling 49-61. Then varsity prevailed over the Thunderbirds 68-40. Trey Abasolo led the way with a double-double, having 28 points and 10 rebounds. Michael Manis also having a double-double with 17 points and 12 rebounds. Then on February 7th, they hosted the Buhler Crusaders. On the girls' side, C team lost 20-46, JV fell 28-38, and then varsity fell 28-63. Jaden Stevenson leading the way with 6 points and 3 assists. On the boys' side, C team fell short 39-60. JV came up with the win 58-40, and varsity prevailed 66-63. Trey Apasolo netted 30 points with 3 rebounds, and Mason Ellis put up 15 points with 3 rebounds. That's it for this week's edition of Gabe's Game Recap. Gabe Daniel, KCAT News.
Thanks, Gabe. That's it for this week. Tune in next week, and as always, thanks for watching KCAT News.